Hello and welcome to the Ministravaganza 2025 Legion Roadmap. I'm the VP of Creative Development and Strategy, Will Schick, and boy howdy am I excited to be here with you all today. What a whirlwind this last year has been, huh? We had brand new starters just released. We've seen new players, returning players, and veteran players all crowding into the game. It's just been a wonderful time, very exciting, a culmination of a lot of our hard work internally and a lot of your patience, which we greatly appreciate for all of you out there. We're super excited to finally have the foundation firmly in place for everything that we're going to show and where the game is going forward. In addition to the roadmap today and all of the cool things that we're going to show for the future of the game, we're also going to be taking a bit of time to talk about the present, right now, today, points update, along with a bit of rulebook clarification, some new abilities being added, a couple being changed. We're looking at you, Cumbersome. We're going to quickly go over that stuff. I'll give you some high-level kind of discussions of that as we move through the presentation. But as always, there'll be a full article with all of the different information and everything on our website, along with the documents that'll be available after the stream and event kind of closes out. Additionally, if you want to know more about everything, as we mentioned at the front end, if you weren't here for the opening ceremonies, we've got a whole host of different podcast appearances and different media. We're going to be doing an AMA with Wargamer again. So if you want to hear more about the process, if you have questions or you want to hear more about why certain things are happening, maybe get a couple of extra spoilers into things that are coming forward, you can always look forward to those as well. Myself, along with many others of us from the studio, will be attending those across the course of next week. So lots of good things yet to come. But let's just go ahead and kick things off with a bang. Tony. All right, so incredible video done by our own Tony Kondacek and creative director Dallas Kemp. Keen-eyed viewers, I'm sure you all caught the new alternate sculpts for Commander Leia and Darth Vader, but did you catch the first look at the hard plastic snowtroopers and Rebel veterans? Probably did. Of course, a very fun way to kind of look at some of the releases that we did preview at AdeptCon 2026, but in cinematic glory. The new Army boxes, I want to take a second to talk about those because they are brand new to the new product catalog of Legion 2nd Edition. Army boxes are effectively bundles of products of different units and things like that that are going to be available on a limited release basis for players to be able to jump into as early adopters or to start a brand new sub-faction within a faction and things like that. They will include a special edition alternate sculpt of a character as kind of an extra kicker in addition to their bundled discount. You're going to be seeing these coming out over the course of the next several years, tied to thematic releases, looking back on things. It's a really exciting way for us to be able to offer new entry points for existing players to be able to jump into brand new releases, into a different faction, those types of things. I do want to make very clear, though, that Army boxes are not starter boxes. They do not contain any of the required materials, so there's no dice, there's no tools, there's no battle deck in them. Players who want to start with an Army box will need to acquire those things in whatever way they can, whether that's by getting those elements from the Essentials pack or things like that, or getting them from an existing player, whatever kind of works within your community. So there are two very different things. And of course, Army boxes are not forever friends. They will come and they will go. So that we really wanted to encourage and reward veteran players, people who want to be early adopters to these things, and give them a way in which to dive right in, whole hog, right away. Each box will make a 600-point recon army, so they are great to be able to dive right in and start playing either in a Tours of Duty or in your normal game night with normal games. We're going to be seeing those boxes coming out early next year, along with some of the things that we're going to dive into and take a look at the rules, because I've already seen them a couple of times. We're going to start off with that awesome probe droid. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rules for the probe droid itself. In addition to the unit card that you're seeing here now, there will be a new upgrade card that is not included in the box, but is going to be added to the game as a print and play. That allows players to be able to utilize even more probe droids throughout their force, especially in those ice cold blizzard forces, which really can make maximum use of the probe droids. So it's very fun to be able to explore kind of this unit, to see this iconic droid from the Empire be brought into the game, and then to explore its use throughout a couple of different ways in which players can utilize them. Next up, probably one of the most exciting things from my vantage point. I've explained my love of the Super Empire Strikes Back game for the SNES, and having Luke on the Tauntaun with the lightsaber whapping weird Hoth creatures in that game. We have Han and Luke on the Tauntauns. You'll notice that while Luke remains a commander option in his mounted form, Han Solo has taken his maverick aggression, his see you in hell mentality, and turned into a pretty offensive operative. Of course, these characters also come with several new command cards that will incentivize their play, and they make great additions to the Echo Force Echo-based Defenders battle force. Moving to the next reveal for cards, one that Empire players have been waiting for quite some time. I think overall Legion players have been waiting for quite some time. Grand Admiral Thrawn, as revealed in the Imperial High Command box, is going to be coming to Legion. Here's the first look at his rules, as well as one of his command cards, the rest cheekily hidden behind it, just as Thrawn would want. He doesn't want you to know all his tricks just yet. This character was a great joy to work on, also a great pain to work on. He's such an iconic character. He has so much great narrative around him, the way in which players expect him to play, how we wanted him to be represented on the tabletop for Legion itself. He went through a lot of different iterations, a lot of different work. Kudos to the development team and the playtesters for really bringing home what I think is a great Grand Admiral Thrawn in the Legion gameplay mechanics that he has. Another character that's going to be coming alongside Thrawn is Grand Moff Tarkin, iconic Episode 4 villain, holds Vader's leash, and a very unique character in terms of kind of Legion in general. You'll see that he's not really much of an offensive guy. He has a melee attack because, you can throw an old man punch once or twice. But where Tarkin really excels is in getting others to do his dirty work, in breaking down and demoralizing enemy forces and ruling by fear. We had a lot of fun really working with him. Of course, one of the big thematic pushes was to make sure that he paired exceptionally well with Vader. If you see Tarkin, you really want to see Vader. And so a lot of the thought process went into that. Of course, he plays very well with his other compatriots, but making sure that we hit that thematic pairing was at the forefront of our minds. So these two will be coming alongside General Tog, who you're going to have to wait a little bit to see what he's doing. And of course, a brand new resculpt in hard plastic of Director Krennic. We've seen players get their hands on General Grievous and his wheel bike, one of the first mounted characters for the game. And of course, everyone's been looking forward to his cronies, the wheel bikes themselves. Here's the first look at the general stat card for the unit. As one would expect, they pair quite well with General Grievous on the wheel bike, but of course they add some new options to the Separatist army as well with their mobility and their durability, kind of splitting between the lines. You can upgrade them to be the Magna Guard drivers as well, which gives them a little bit more of a melee punch. For folks who took the plunge on Legion with the launch, you likely got yourselves a Hondo Ohnaka early release. For everyone who might have missed out or didn't grab a starter, don't worry, you can have this famous pirate captain as well as multiple units of his Weequay pirates. As we've discussed previously, the Hondo Ohnaka can be built as a general pirate commander, which allows you to field multiple Weequay units and Hondo as well, as you like. Shadow Collective players rejoice. A brand new unit is going to be joining your criminal folds with the Weequays. It's a very fun unit, of course, ties very thematically with Hondo and Naka, and will be featured in a new Raiders battle force that we'll be talking more about probably around the time of Adepticon next year. So you can look forward to that. And of course, part of that new battle force and Shadow Collective forces and available to anyone as a mercenary is the WLO5 speeder tank. So for those who saw this miniature at Adepticon, it is glorious, it is massive, it is super cool. It's one of my favorite tank designs from Star Wars, surprisingly. I never knew that I loved this thing as much until I saw the miniature for it. Another really exciting and enjoyable one for us to work on development-wise. We really got to dive into the idea of what does a light tank kind of look like for this group and for this type of outfit and weapon, and then how does it factor into that upcoming battle, that Raiders battle force that I talked about as well. So it has some neat tricks that are not necessarily on the card when you're using it within that battle force itself and finding those things to go along. Perhaps the most exciting thing that we're going to show today, or maybe the most anticipated thing. I don't know if it's the most exciting. We got a long way to go, and I'm expecting some real good excitement in the chat. But one of the most anticipated things has been new missions, new primaries, new secondaries, Battle Deck, Card Pack 2, we've talked about it. Here it is. Here is one of the brand new sets, so a primary and a secondary coming from that. You can look at it in all its glory and see it, but don't worry about grabbing those screenshots because we're going to be making this available as a print and play. Yes, that's right. These are going to be game legal. You can start adding them to your battle decks right away and begin playing with this new set of missions as you go. So Outflank and Supply Run will be available to you. Of course, there are several others in the box. We'll be revealing those as time goes on, but we wanted to give you some special additional game content today and allow you to start exploring the new mission feel and parameters within your games right away. Along with the new primaries and secondaries in the box, we are also going to be introducing new faction-specific advantages. Each faction is going to get 2 advantages specific to them in the battle deck. We're giving you, again, early access, 1 for each of the factions, so you can also download, print, and play these, and add them to your battle decks as well. So there's 1 for each of the different factions. It was very exciting to be able to dive in and kind of think of advantages in terms of what does each faction represent, to explore the faction design space, the theme behind them, and really start to work on this. And it opens up a whole new level of how we can use the various cards in the battle deck to really drive home the story and the themes of Star Wars and the galaxy itself. Back in June, for those who are around, we did a surprise drop that included points, but also included a whole batch of new upgrade cards drawn from the upcoming Upgrade Card Pack 2, which we'll be releasing next year. Well, you've had 1 early access card drop. Why not a second? And today, as well, we're excited to be able to preview, but also to be offering as officially game legal and print plays this set of 4 upgrade cards, 1 for each faction. These are brand new character upgrade cards, so they can go into units. If you've ever played against Ahsoka and her clone friends as the commander unit upgrade, you'll know exactly how these things work. But this goes along with our design philosophy we talked a lot about. One of our big pushes for the new edition was always thinking about how do we get more of those iconic characters onto the table in a meaningful way that works with how Legion's overall goal and gameplay functions. And so adding these iconic characters to units as unit attachments really has not only brought that visual to fruition where we can see more of these characters, it also brings a lot of unique customization and opportunity for players to really incentivize different builds to bring out the best in units that may not be at the top of the pile, and to add some really cool, fun abilities that we're able to play with, like Cassian Andor and his flip mechanic here. So these 4 cards are also going to be made available after the end of the event. There's going to be an article that talks all about that and everything, so you can kind of take a look at it, but you're going to be able to bring those right away. But that's not all. But wait, there's more. There's also 2 new battle forces that we're going to be giving you today, the 212th Attack Battalion and the Stormtrooper Battalion. The 212th Clone Battalion, this is, of course, Obi-Wan and Clone Commander Cody's kind of Personal Battalion. These guys focus on a combined arms approach, as you can kind of imagine if you've ever played with or against Clone Commander Cody. And it has a lot of benefits for fielding vehicles and using combined arm approach with vehicles, a balance of vehicles and units. Specifically, vehicles are allowed to spend aim and dodge tokens from allied clone trooper units within range 2, and you also can take up to 3 heavy slots within the battle force. The Stormtrooper Battalion, on the other side, really puts the focus on the iconic vision of Imperial might, the Stormtrooper. It is a very limited battle force, but what it lacks in diversity, it makes up for in a host of special rules that really allow you to bring out the best of the Empire's elite troops. Between target and other things that go with the commanders, the idea behind this battle force was to allow players who want to play that kind of iconic Stormtrooper battalion that we see so often in the movies to its maximum potential. And we're really excited to have this one to bring those kind of new opportunities to it and to see how players adjust and adapt to these different forces coming into the fray. As if all of this content wasn't enough, we now have to dive in and talk a little bit about what to expect from the core rules update and the points adjustment update that are also going to be landing today. And I want to start with the core rules. So specifically in the core rules adjustment, the 2 things that I want to talk about are 2 new keywords. So you're going to see the new keywords for anti-material, which people have been wondering about since Tours of Duty, and anti-personnel, which is kind of the opposite, the mirror of anti-material. These new keywords work off of the upgrading and downgrading dice system, so you can check those out and finally have the exact ruling for how those cards work, or for how those keywords work. The one that I specifically want to call out and give you, though, is one that we've talked about quite a bit on different podcasts. The community has had a lot of discourse about it. How would you change cumbersome? Well, I can tell you how we did it and how it's going to appear in this new core book, which is cumbersome now says when a unit adds a weapon with the cumbersome keyword to an attack pool, it downgrades each of that weapon's attack dice if that unit has made any moves during the same activation. So our big challenge with how to approach cumbersome is we loved the theme. We loved kind of the restriction of if you're a big, chunky, heavy weapon, you have to set up, right? Not moving is going to make you more accurate. The problem is the previous rule obviously was very restrictive. It was kind of feels bad. It wasn't a great play experience because it locked in the rest of the unit from being unable to do stuff. We feel with this change, we're going to lessen the negative drawback of cumbersome. It provides player options and opportunities, and it still kind of maximizes the idea that when these weapons work the best is when you stand and shoot with them, when you take your time to set them up, to aim with them, and that kind of thing. So we're very interested to see how this affects those units that can take those heavy weapons. In our internal testing and our iterations with playtesters, it worked very well. It was an exciting kind of change that added new dynamism to these weapons and made them more viable choices across the places and where they could be taken. Now let's talk about points adjustments and what to kind of expect. I'm not going to give you every single points adjustment because you can just check out the document for that, but I do want to highlight a few of the more major ones that I think players will be most interested in. And of course, as I mentioned before, if you're interested in really getting the inside skinny on this, I would check out any of your favorite Legion podcasts. We're going to be on several of them next week, and I have no doubt that they'll be asking us plenty of questions about the design intent, the development philosophy, and all that stuff behind these. The ones that I want to call out right now, Unstable Astromech, that upgrade is increasing from 4 points to 12. Of course, this is in response to what we've seen it done with the Land Speeder and Rebels, and just kind of its outsized impact outside of the AA5. Fleet Troopers and Rebel Trooper Squad upgrades are both decreasing by 5 points to 40 points per upgrade. This goes back to some of the work that we did in the previous points updates where we talked about how, initially we were conservative on the larger squad sizes. We wanted to make sure that we didn't push the needle too far. However, that conservative approach has kind of made some of those less viable than we want, so we have drawn back the points on those. Moff Gideon is seeing a 20-point reduction, so he's going down to 80 points. This reflects our continuing design philosophy behind, again, seeing more characters. Again, it kind of goes to our initial evaluations of the fact that you can only ever take a single character versus being able to take multiples of the same character. With units, you can take multiples of that, which gives you a force multiplier that you can't really get out of characters. Allows us to be more aggressive on their points, which then goes back to giving players more points to spend on units and interesting upgrades, as well as seeing more characters on the table. This also allows a bit more viability to taking the Darksaber with him, as he has a significant points cut, but you can bring him back up to his offensive capability by taking that upgrade as well. Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister are also being reduced by 8 points each. Again, this goes back to the philosophy behind characters and trying to bring more viability to them. Gar Saxon is also decreasing by 5 points, and his sniper rifle upgrade is also decreasing by 5 points, which allows him to kind of take the overall package that we envision and want for him, which is with that cool sniper rifle, more easily, and to be a bit more of a potent and efficient choice. And of course, the one that everyone has been waiting for, that everyone has expected, Aqua Droids are increasing in points. They're increasing by 13 points, going to 78 for the unit. This, of course, reflects their outsized efficiency and what we've seen from them through the data analysis and the different tournament results and the game results and the community feedback. So those are the ones that I wanted to highlight. Again, there are several more in the document, so be sure to go check that out. This, as with every points update, is an ongoing kind of process with us. So if you see things that you don't expect and things that you expected but didn't see, don't take that as they're never going to get adjusted. As always, we're going to continue to monitor the community. We're going to continue to collect all of the data we can from both casual and competitive events, from player feedback, tester feedback, everything else. And we're going to continue to make measured adjustments to make sure that we're always pushing the game to be the best experience that it can be. Within our ability to do so. One of the things that we always like to do is, of course, we have a November developer update. We've kind of rolled that into Ministrav just based on how the timing of everything went. But in April, we'll be doing another full-on developer update, as players have come to expect. In that update and discussion, a couple of the things that we are currently working on and you should expect to hear more on in April are some adjustments currently in testing for the Wookiee units, both Wookiee Warriors and Liberators, and Rebel Commandos. So we're looking at increasing the efficiency and viability of those 3 units, in addition to several other items as well. And of course, anything that needs adjustment before that period, if we feel that it is critical and we are confident in those adjustments, we will make them. But realistically, you should probably expect that it'll be April again when we kind of come around and start talking about points and those kinds of adjustments. All right, and with that, Tony, I think we can safely say that this party's over. Yes, that's right. It's time to start looking at what is coming in the future, the things that are unexpected, have not been shown yet, and where better to start than with Mace Windu. So Mace Windu is coming to Star Wars Legion finally for Galactic Republic players, but he's not coming alone. He's bringing the whole Jedi Council with him. So next year, you're going to see the release of Ki-Adi-Mundi, Mace Windu, Plo Koon, and Shaak Ti as brand new commanders and operatives, a mix of them, to Star Wars Legion. So get ready. You can add even more lightsabers to your Galactic Republic armies. Of course, it's been a joy to be able to work on these characters, to bring these iconic Jedi to the game. It's something that we've been waiting to do for so long. Being where we are now with the foundation of the 2nd edition has allowed us to really start to dive in. And this is just the start. If that's not enough Jedi for you, then let me introduce you to the first mounted characters for Galactic Republic, which is Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker mounted on BARC speeders. This kind of goes back to some of those iconic moments that we've seen throughout Star Wars media, with Obi-Wan leading the charge on the BARC speeder from the Clone Wars series. And these 2 characters, again, bring a whole new dimension to what they do, to how they function on the tabletop, with Obi-Wan Kenobi being a commander, Anakin Skywalker being an operative. And it's been a blast to kind of see these, and especially to play them against the wheel bike Grievous threat that is there. And so a whole new level of high octane, I guess I can't say octane, they don't run on gas, but you get what I'm saying, speeder forces going on here. And if that wasn't enough, this set can also be used to create a generic Jedi commander on the BARC speeder as well, so you can get even more mounted Jedi for your enjoyment and play experiences out of this one set. These guys are going to be coming later next year alongside the Jedi Council, and they really open up a whole new level of playing experiences for that faction, and I'm very excited to see players get their hands on it and to build my own speeder bike centric army, because those are my favorite out of all the builds. Speed is king. For those who joined us at Gen Con or saw the photos, you know that we also stealth revealed Savage Opress as one of the new characters for the Separatist Alliance coming out. We mentioned in some of the interviews that we did at the show that there was a hidden new character that was also going to appear in that pack. And I know the community has been rife with different thoughts about who that character could be. I'm here to tell you that I hope you Separatist Alliance players are not afraid of spiders, because that mystery character is Admiral Trench. So the Leaders of the Separatist Alliance pack is going to be coming out. This is going to have a hard plastic resculpt of Count Dooku. It's going to be where you can get Asajj and the General Grievous from the starter box. It's also going to introduce Savage Opress and Admiral Trench as brand new characters for Separatist Alliance, and Savage will also be usable by Shadow Collective as well. Whew, there's so much stuff, and we're not even done. I think we have even more stuff to talk about. Let's jump out of the Clone Wars. Let's jump back into the Galactic Civil War, and let's talk about the arrival of a brand new character unit that features everyone's favorite scoundrels from A New Hope, Han Solo and Chewbacca. This new mercenary unit captures the pairs we first meet them in Episode 4 in the Mos Eisley Cantina. This is before they're fighting for a cause bigger than themselves, and they're only in it for the money. It's been such a joy to be able to go back to these different versions of these characters to bring new life and intriguing things to them through the sculpts, through the miniatures, through the game rules and everything else. And truly doing these two, this iconic duo, as a character unit within the game rules, as we kind of laid out the foundation with Bad Batch, has been a real joy. And having them as mercenaries obviously opens them up to appear in future battle forces and to see kind of like a way in which we as players can explore their scoundrel days before they really threw all of their chips into the Rebel Alliance pot. If you joined us a few weeks ago for the War Gamer AMA, or if you saw the aftermath of that, you do kind of know what to expect from this next reveal, which is that later in the year, later next year, early 2027 as well, we're going to be diving into the events of Solo with some brand new Empire releases, specifically themed around the Mimban campaign there with the Mud Troopers. So we showed off this amazing artwork overseen by our art director, Preston Stone. We want to give you an advanced early look at the unit and the sculpts for that unit, which have been done by our fantastic engineering and sculpting team. So the Imperial Mud Troopers. This is a brand new core unit for Empire. These guys bring a very different play style in that they are very cheap cannon fodder kind of like guys. They're not highly trained like stormtroopers, but they fill the ranks and they fight for the glory of the Empire. And as kind of a lesser tier of Imperial trooper, they do require the support from their stormtrooper brethren. And so alongside them, you're going to be getting the wet weather stormtroopers we see in Solo. So these environmentally geared up guys, they're an elite kind of team, an elite within the elite of the stormtroopers. And these two units together will kind of form the backbone of the 224th Mimban Armored Assault Division Battle Force, which will be releasing alongside of them. So you can add these to your normal Empire armies. You can also dive in and live your solo dreams with the specific battle force. All of this stuff will be coming out approximately late 2026 to early 2027 of next year. Rounding out the host of our previews for this set of roadmaps is a unit that I'm very excited to be able to show. And one of the special things that we get to do every once in a while with LFL is kind of to create unique things for the games that we do. And the Rebel Guerrilla Troopers take a lot of different concepts that we've seen throughout the Star Wars galaxy and congeal them into one kind of cohesive idea for the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars. And that is these hard-bitten kind of behind enemy lines troopers that scavenge and steal Imperial equipment to outfit themselves for long, hard-bitten campaigns behind enemy lines. This unit has been a lot of fun to work on, from the initial concepting and the ideas that were done by Preston and Dallas, to the artwork and the color compositions, to the sculpting and everything else. And I'm really excited to reveal more about this unit as we get closer to their release later next year and early 2027. Probably more information to come in the Adepticon roadmap as well. So, with that, there's been a lot of stuff. There's so much stuff for you to go grab right away and start adding to your games. The new sample mission from the new Battle Deck Part 2. the new character upgrades from the upgrade pack part 2, the 2 new battle forces, the points update, the core rules update, and of course, all of the amazing things that are going to be coming your way to the game. Thank you so much for all of your support, your passion, your play, and everything that you've done to make this game a global phenomenon. We can only hope to be worthy of all of the passion and excitement around it. We will continue to hopefully surprise and entertain you, delight you with new ways to experience Legion, and to bring more of the Star Wars galaxy into the tabletops and on Legion games. Always remember, though, that while rebellions are built on hope, the most important bit to success is building a family. And with that, Ministravaganza 2025, all the roadmaps, all the games, all the game content, all the good stuff, we are wrapped. So thank you again, everyone who joined us today, everyone who watched the different roadmaps, whether you were at all of them, whether you were at one of them. We couldn't do what we do here at Atomic Mass Games without the amazing players who play the games and proselytize how incredible the hobby and the experiences are across the world. Continue to be the best, continue to show people how enjoyable the communal experience of these games, the connection, the emotional attachments, the friendships that we make along the way are all so important. From all of us here at Atomic Mass, thank you for continuing this adventure with us. We can't wait to show you even more exciting future previews at Adepticon 2026 in March. Until next time, Atomic Mass Transmission signing off.